Professor Kauffman, I only have one two-part question for you this evening. What are your thoughts on the honesty and integrity of the candidates running on the Republican side? I'm not going to talk about the Democrats because we know they're not honest and they are not, have no integrity. What are your thoughts on who would you see, or who would you like to see as our next president out of that field? And this is a hypothetical question, part two. If you were asked by our next president to be a national security advisor, I think you would make a great national security advisor. You're a man of high integrity and honesty. And if you were asked by the next president, would you do it?
The first part, as I said, Trump is not perfect, but he's different. And I think we could use that. And you know, he wrote The Art of the Deal. And I think that's what being president's about, making deals, okay? And you have a cast of capable advisors who can provide you with the specific information. And you know, if his deal is to decrease the number of warheads, nuclear warheads one day, and the next day to move factories back to the United States, and then you can think of something else, I think all that's important. The other person that I would support is Ben Carson, okay? I've heard people say, oh, well, he's implicated in abortions and whatever. But again, I think he's basically a competent person. It's not the same old, okay, things. He's different, okay? And I think that's desperately what we need. So they would be my two choices. But also, I wouldn't totally throw away the Democrats. I think Elizabeth Warren has integrity, okay? Maybe some people think she has strange economics, but I basically think Wall Street gangsters who stole money ought to go to jail, okay? I mean, you'll go to jail for a speeding ticket or contempt of court or whatever, okay? I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Donald Trump reach out and say, Elizabeth Warren, how would you like to be my vice president, okay? The other question is, the answer to the other question is, I'm 75 years old. All right, I guess I can still get around and think. But sure, I'd be honored, and indeed I met with John Love on Wednesday, who's a Republican from up the road, Fenton, okay? And he has connections to the Trump camp. And we were figuring how could we meet with Trump to talk about the Russian situation. Many opportunities, okay, how to solve problems, etc. And John's going to try to arrange something. I don't know whether it will succeed or not. But I think good people ought to be eager to go to Washington and offer their advice. But the people we have now, they don't want that. They want stooges to come to Washington and echo what they're saying. Okay, and talking about 9/11, in 1998, the world's largest grain elevator blew up in Wichita, Kansas, 26,000 bushels. And I was part of the investigation team. Well, in 2001, we had 9/11. And I was wondering why I wasn't invited to go to the World Trade Center and go through the rubble, okay? In fact, why weren't my colleagues invited? Because they wanted government stooges from NIST who would toe the party line, okay? They didn't want people coming in here and say, boy, this sure smells like high explosives to me, okay? Or, here's evidence of molten steel, okay? So you have to get the best in Washington, not only as the elected people, but as the civil servants or the staff to go down there and make sure things run well. An observation, sometimes when I drive to Washington, you get to Frederick about 5 p.m., and then you head south to D.C. Well, there's a 6-lane highway between Frederick and Washington. Maybe some of you know this. Well, at 5 o'clock, the 3 lanes going north are just a parking lot. Okay, and what kind of lemmings do we have the ones that spend 2 hours in their car in the morning and in the evening driving to work in Washington. This is kind of a reflection upon the people we're getting in the government.
Any other questions?